and head coach Tommy Lloyd, who is joining me now with his squad. And hey, Tommy, it's Scott Van Pelt. They say survive and advance in March, but man, we followed both your games against BYU. How would you describe the last minute in both these games against those resilient BYU Cougars?
I mean, it's gut-wrenching. Obviously we can do a little bit better job closing out those games. But I'm so proud of our guys. Hey, you see every program in college basketball, you kind of go through it for part of the season. We're going through it right now with some injuries and some illness going through the team. I'm really proud of how our guys stepped up. And it's a high-character group, and we're built for it. And it was good to get it back on track today.
Yeah, we had Todd Golden on last night from Florida, and he talked about having a tight 8-man rotation and how you need a little luck, right? You need health, and you need that ability to know who you can count on. And you had guys step up tonight. Is there a sense, Tommy, of how much time it's going to take to get your group whole again?
Yeah, no, I don't think we're far off. Hey, this Big 12's a monster, and we want to make sure that we're playing our best basketball as we get into March. So we want to be healthy, and we had a few guys banged up, and it just we had a few guys that needed a little bit of a break. So we're built for it. We can't wait for Saturday. Obviously, we have a big game at Houston coming up for first place in the conference, and those are the type of games Arizona basketball should be playing in.
I agree, and I tried to show you the respect of not asking about Houston first, let you at least enjoy a moment after this victory. Your league's insane, and your final last, 5 games, like I want to say 3 of the last 4 against top 10 teams. I get that it prepares you for March, but how do you measure the energy that's going to be required to win the ultimate games that matter most to Arizona, which would be in the big tournament?
Well, a good friend of mine, John Stockton, once said, if you want something bad enough, there's always something left in the tank. And and I believe that. And hey, this is gut-wrenching for all of us. It's a tough March, and in the Big 12, and we just got to keep hanging in there and keep showing up. And then we're looking forward to the NCAA tournament. We can play some teams from some other conferences.
Let me close with this. When I spoke to your guys after they won in BYU, they were doing exactly what they're doing right here. It's like the Thunder. Right? It's a connected group. That's a word that's used a lot in this sport, Tommy. Connected. It seems like this team really is. Am I reading that as accurately as it seems with them standing with you?
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, this is a connected group, and these guys are the driving force, and us coaches are just here to support them. I mean, these guys are the heart and soul of a great basketball legacy at Arizona, a great community, and a great university. So I'm thankful for these guys. I don't know if they're thankful for me all the time, but I'm definitely thankful for them.
Well, they say bear down in your part of the world. You guys did tonight. We look forward to watching you on the road against Houston. You got one of the teams in the country that could win this whole thing. So send them my regards and my appreciation for standing with you tonight, and thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks, Scott.
You got it. Tommy Lloyd and Arizona get the victory tonight, and they've got a pile of big-time wins. They knock off BYU after losing last year's meeting in Tucson. It's the first home win against BYU since '99. That was a game that featured some NBA stars like Gilbert Arenas, and ESPN's own Richard Jefferson.
A couple.
I mean, you're talking heavy hitters. Cats right the ship after dropping a couple of games last week. They moved to 24-2, including 7-2 against ranked opponents. Only team in the country with more ranked wins this year is Duke with 8. Somehow Stanford Steve says they can't win 6. That's neither here nor there. As for BYU, Cougars still looking for a statement win in a loaded Big 12. Now 1-6 against ranked opponents on the year, including 5 straight losses. Tied for the longest losing streak against AP ranked opponents. That loss of Saunders is significant for them moving forward. Bilas Dan Shulman join me now. Thanks for hanging out to visit with me. You heard Coach just describe the connected group here. And in the absence, Jay, if I start with you, of Pete, who's one of the better players on this team, to see other guys step up, how important is that for guys to outperform their role as we move towards March?
And in the absence of Koa Pete and Dwayne Aristode, other players can do more. Nobody had to put a cape on and be Superman for Arizona. But guys like Anthony Del Orso, who was a 20-point-a-game scorer when he played at Campbell, he was a starter last year. he stepped forward, had a great game. Ivan Karchenkov, who they're trying to get to do more because he's capable of more. But he had 18 points, 7 rebounds, one of the best defenders in the country. He's had 2 straight games. He had to guard Christian Anderson at Texas Tech on Saturday. Then he turns around most of the game. He gets A.J. Dibanza, who winds up with 33. But they made him work hard for every one of those 33. I think he took 25 shots, something like that. And for the most part, kept him off the foul line as often as he could have gotten there. So there were a lot of really good things for Arizona in this game. And when they do get Koa Pete back healthy, and they expect to do that pretty soon, don't know exactly when, but pretty soon, he's arguably going to come back to a better team.
Dan, I've asked a number of coaches in this conference about Hilton Magic, asked TJ about that, asked Bill about Fogg, and I was going to ask Coach about McHale, but I'd rather ask him about his team standing side by side. So I'll ask you, a guy that's traveled the world and covered the biggest events in sport, describe McHale to people that haven't seen it or heard it.
Yeah, it is great. So they stand at the beginning of each half, I think, until each team makes a basket, and it doesn't take much. Once they sit down, it doesn't take a whole lot for them to get back on their feet again. This league, as you well know, Scott, is just loaded with great environments, and Iowa State's off the charts. Kansas is off the charts. But this one doesn't take a back seat to very many. They love their basketball here. And, you know, Tommy Lloyd said to you, this is a program that should be playing in big games and playing for championships, and that's how the fan base feels, too. They want to dominate. They want to go deep into the NCAA tournament. I don't know about you. When I say it out loud, it still sounds strange. This program hasn't been to a Final Four since 2001. They've got the support. They've got the fan base. They've got the coach. They've got the talent. They've got a lot of things going for them. Now they'll have to go out and do it on neutral courts in Kansas City in the Big 12 and then in the NCAA tournament. But, boy, they're good. You know, they can beat you with their big guys. They can beat you with their guards like they did the first time they played BYU. And as Jay said, tonight they did it with Del Orso and Karchenkov. When you can win games different ways, I think you're less susceptible to that upset in the NCAA tournament.
And, Scotty, Dan knows the best arenas in basketball. He also knows the best stadiums in baseball. And you know, he's just coming off the World Series.
Game of the year, I don't know what could be better than this. I'm definitely recency biased, but what a game in T-Town. And Darius Acuff, this guy and a loaded class of freshman guards. No one stopped ball there. I mean, defense was a little optional. Acuff there on the drive. Acuff, mid-range, step back. Acuff off the miss. It'll come to him. He pulls all 3 of these. 544 points, which breaks the Arkansas freshman record. It's 57-47 at the half. Bama trailing by 4, but they are coming back. Amari Allen, it's a 2-point game. Now it's a 2-point deficit, make it a 1-point lead. LeBaron Philon Jr. hits the 3. Roll Tide up by 1. Philon Jr. again. Stop ball, anyone. Bama's up 3. Down 3 late. Acuff Jr. He steps into this and watch him look at the bench like, I told you. Yep, we're tied at 95. Philon trying to step back and hit the one-legged game winner. No, put 5 more on the clock. It's 95 all. Early in overtime, Arkansas's up 3. Acuff Jr. to Billy Richmond III. Mid-range game. And it's a 5-point lead. But here comes Bama again. Houston Millett. And Bama now leads by 2. After the teams exchange free throws. We're tied at 105. For the win, it's Acuff, and Bama has to avoid what would have been the dagger there from this young man who had a monster night. 2 minutes to go in double overtime. We're tied at 110. Again, it's sort of the same thing we saw over and over. Philon Jr. drives, bucket good. Now it's Philon. Corner. Millett. Monster 3. I keep saying monster, but it felt like every shot had that kind of weight to it. Bama leads by 4. Arkansas gets within 2. Here comes Acuff Jr. to tie it. No. Malik, you in there with a putback slam that would have tied it, and it rattles out. And the disappointment palpable for Acuff. How can you hang your head after 49? He was brilliant. Here's a look at just how close we came to a third overtime. Alabama wins it by 2. Here's Coach Cal after his guys came up a bucket shy.
Obviously, the game he had, even in a loss, I guess just how much more?
He was in a boot for 2 days and still did that. And I said, "Do you think you might have to miss this game?" He said, "Are you nuts?" He didn't care, hurt, whatever it is. He was in a boot for 2 days.
When he plays these other really good guards, we need to get to win. That's it. His version of outplaying them needs to be better defense, better leadership, better ball movement, better floor leadership, all that. And I thought he was pretty good at a lot of that tonight. So, Acuff won the scoring deal. We got the win. That's what I told him. Like, if Acuff wins the scoring, we get the win. Great job. I thought he did a pretty good job. A lot of that stuff.
Huge injury news in college basketball, and this is a bummer. Texas Tech star forward JT Toppin went down, and it didn't look good. The news is worse. It's a torn ACL suffered driving to the bucket in Tuesday's loss for the Red Raiders at Arizona State. He leads the number 13 Red Raiders in scoring, rebounds, and block shots. And this isn't just disappointing news, it's potentially debilitating news. Reigning Big 12 Player of the Year, the only player in America who is averaging 20 and 10. Steve, they were one of the 12 teams on your list to win a title potentially. I have to believe that the absence of Toppin eliminates them, or no?
No, not yet. We got to see what they are without him. I'm not just going to throw them away.
I understand. And
that's good of a program.
And that's entirely fair. I mean, we saw BYU battle in the absence of Saunders. We saw Arizona win without Pete. I just think a 20-10 player who leads them in blocks as well, to think they could win 6 without him, I just feel like that's a monstrous, monstrous ask.
The list is subject to change.
It's his list. It's his list.